Hi guys, this is Cycle 1, Week 2 Mirror Images. You're going to start off by reviewing the oils that we went over last week. Just use a picture or something that's in the room and just say, hey, where do you see an angled line? Where do you see an open circle? Chances are they're all going to be in there. If they're not, go to something else or just find something in the room that's an angled line or that's a curved line or something like that. Just to get going and review it. Second, you're going to take pictures of any kids that were not there on week 1. And again, this is going to be from waist up or whole body. And you're going to use those for week 6 activity. Next, you're going to introduce mirror images. So by doing that, we are going to use one of these 2 books, and we'll get a third one for the last tutor. These are really fun books. I have on here to print out famous work and talk about it. I think kids are going to relate to these a little bit better. These are not always mirrored, true mirror images. I think you can talk about what's mirrored and what isn't. So in this one, I would say that, the castle is mirrored, even though it's not the same color. The skyline is mirrored. It's at the same point, but it's also not the same colors. But her hair is obviously not, and the trees are not. So you can play with that and maybe preview some images before you open this for class, because they're not all appropriate. They're not inappropriate. They're just some are a little bit dark. So do that. If your kids are really not into that, we've done these in the past and they're always popular. It's the draw the half of the animal. You are welcome to start with that if you want, or if you want to start with the mirror image book and you have time at the end, you can do this, or you can send this home with kids. This is a great way to let them continue doing art at home through the week and learning about what they're doing. So do that, and then talk about the artwork, and also in your instructions for the first 6 weeks of art. At the end of that packet, I am going to show them to you. I printed out some really good questions to ask about art and ask kids about them. I really hope you use these a lot. They're great. They're just questions you wouldn't think about. What's mysterious about your artwork? If this were music, what would it sound like? What do you think this artwork was created for, and why do you say that? You can even ask them about theirs, like why did you create it this way, and why do you think your friend created it this way? Not to compare them, just to say, maybe that's his favorite color. Is there a story being told here? And you can ask some of those when you're looking at these books as well. So I hope you use those a lot during the first 6 weeks, and really even into the next, when we do Great Artists on week 13. Okay, so that should take you 8, 9 minutes, 10 minutes max to get into the second activity. And the second activity that we're going to do is, they're called mono prints. So this is the end result. But what you're going to do is you're going to start, with some wax paper, which is going to be in that paper bag that I gave you. And you're going to let the kids pick out one color of paint. There's 9 of them. I think you guys have them in Dixie, in Gladware cups. So if every kid in your class picks green or purple or whatever, that's fine. We have way more of these. So just let kids pick whatever they want. So what you're gonna do as a tutor is or a mom, you're gonna put a little bit of paint onto that paper, onto that wax paper. And I should have said the wax paper needs to be just a little bit bigger than a sheet of paper. And you'll see why in a second. Doesn't really have to be exact, doesn't have to be science. Could rip them out ahead of time to make life easier, or have a mom do it when you get there. So you're gonna put some paint on it. It can be in the center, it can be kind of blobs and everywhere, it doesn't really matter. And then a little bit, you can ask them if they want white or black, and a little bit of white or black. Let's try to not do both because it's just going to get muddy. Very, very little bit, and that will create that contrast that you see in this picture, even just with it's just really blue and white. So next they're going to take a Q-tip, and we have those labeled in your bag as week 15. Just give each kid one. We might need to replenish for week 15, and that's fine, but we might have enough too. So give each kid one Q-tip, that's all they need. And so what they're going to do is they're going to paint, they're going to do a thick layer of paint on their sheet, on their wax paper. Then they're going to do a design. This is a little bit intricate for littler kids, but maybe an initial, maybe a sunshine, maybe, doesn't really matter. There needs to be enough paint on there so that when they do the next step, they can see what it is. You want them to not wipe away all the paint. So you have that. I would get the paper towels and the wipes ready for this one. It'll be a little bit messy. Maybe if you have art shirts, that would be great as well. I know that Heidi and I've just stored up a stack, so we always have art shirts in our bin. So if you guys have some around, that's probably a good idea. So then you're gonna take your thick paper, and it does say on there, week 2, I think there's 9 kids in here, if someone really messes up. But they're going to take their paper and they're gonna lay it on top. Littler kids are gonna need help with this so they don't move it around. And then they're gonna pat it down, just pat. You know, smooth it out, but make sure when you're smoothing, you're not moving the paper. And then when they pull it up, they're gonna hold the wax paper, I'll do it with this, down with one hand, one thumb, and then they'll slowly pull it away like that. And then they'll have their print on this side of the other sheet, like you can see here. And now this has to add a little detail of color at the end, just to be cute. Totally doesn't need to happen, but it is, just kind of makes it pop. So it's kind of fun to do that. And again, if you have time at the end and you need 5 minutes, do your ta-da. If you need 7 minutes, do your drawings, half drawings, and make sure to put labels on these drawings so the kids know. The wax paper is garbage. That one is not what we're keeping. We're really just keeping the subtraction of the wax paper. If the kids want to take home the wax paper, maybe that's a good thing to take home. It should be pretty thick though, so just remember that, so it's not going to be dry. You don't want it thin. So if a kid's saying like, it doesn't need to be so thick, but you do understand that it needs to come off. So if it's too thin and if it's drying, then they're not going to be able to do it. But it doesn't have to be so thick that it's like soupy. So I hope that helps. Good luck.